First question. Skin is an accessory organ of respiration in A. Humans, B. Frog, C. Rabbit, D. Lizard.
Second question. Match the items given in column I with those in column 2 and select the correct option given below.
Third question. Lungs do not collapse between breaths and some air always remains in the lungs which can never be expelled because A. There is a negative pressure in the lungs. B. There is a negative intrapleural pressure pulling at the lung walls. C. There is a positive intrapleural pressure. D. Pressure in the lungs is higher than the atmospheric pressure.
Fourth question. Which one of the following is a possibility for most of us in regard to breathing, by making a conscious effort? A. One can breathe out air through eustachian tube by closing both nose and mouth. B. One can breathe out air totally without oxygen. C. One can consciously breathe in and breathe out by moving the diaphragm alone, without moving the ribs at all. D. The lungs can be made fully empty by forcefully breathing out all air from them.
Fifth question. In lungs, the air is separated from the venous blood through A. Transitional epithelium plus tunica externa of blood vessel. B. Squamous epithelium plus endothelium of blood vessels. C. Squamous epithelium plus tunica media of blood vessel. D. None of the above.
Sixth question. Approximately 70% of CO2 absorbed by the blood will be transported to the lungs. A. As bicarbonate ions. B. In the form of dissolved gas molecules. C. By binding to RBC. D. As carbaminohemoglobin.
Seventh question. Select the favorable conditions required for the formation of oxyhemoglobin at the alveoli. A. Low PO2, low PCO2, more H+, higher temperature. B. High PO2, low PCO2, less H+, lower temperature. C. Low PO2, high PCO2, more H+, higher temperature. D. High PO2, high PCO2, less H+, higher temperature.
Eighth question. Although much CO2 is carried in blood, yet blood does not become acidic, because A. C02 is continuously diffused through the tissues and is not allowed to accumulate. B. In CO2 transport, blood buffers play an important role. Sensory CO2 is absorbed by the leukocytes. D. CO2 combines with water to form H2CO3, which is neutralized by sodium carbonate.
Ninth question. Which one of the following statements is incorrect? A. The principle of countercurrent flow facilitates efficient respiration in gills of fishes. B. The residual air in lungs slightly decreases the efficiency of respiration in mammals. C. The presence of non-respiratory air sacs increases the efficiency of respiration in birds. D. In insects, circulating body fluids serve to distribute oxygen to tissue. Tenth question. In man and mammals, air passes from outside into the lungs through A. Nasal cavity, larynx, pharynx, trachea, bronchi, alveoli. B. Nasal cavity, larynx, pharynx, trachea, bronchioles, alveoli. C. Nasal cavity, pharynx, larynx, trachea, bronchioles, bronchi, alveoli. D. Nasal cavity, pharynx, larynx, trachea, bronchi, bronchioles, alveoli.
Eleventh question. The hemoglobin of a human fetus. A. Has only 2 protein subunits instead of 4. B. Has a higher affinity for oxygen than that of an adult. C. Has a lower oxygen than that of the adult. D. Its affinity for oxygen is the same as that of an adult.
Twelfth question. Hemoglobin is a type of A. Carbohydrate, B. Respiratory pigment, C. Vitamin, D. Skin pigment.
Thirteenth question. The majority of carbon dioxide produced by our body cells is transported to the lungs as A. Attached to hemoglobin, B. Dissolved in the blood, C. As bicarbonates, D. As carbonates.
Fourteenth question. At high altitude, the RBCs in the human blood will A. Increase in number, B. Decrease in number, C. Increase in size, D. Decrease in size.
15th question. When you hold your breath, which of the following gas changes in blood would first lead to urge to breathe? A. Falling CO2 concentration. B. Rising CO2 and falling of O2 concentration. C. Falling O2 concentration. D. Rising CO2 concentration.
Sixteenth question. Due to increasing airborne allergens and pollutants, many people in urban areas are suffering from respiratory disorder that cause wheezing due to A. Reduction in the secretion of surfactant by pneumocytes. B. Benign growth on mucus lining of nasal cavity. C. Inflammation of bronchi and bronchioles. D. Proliferation of fibrous tissues and damage of alveolar walls.
Seventeenth question. How the transport of O2 and CO2 by blood happens? A. With the help of WBCs and blood serum. B. With the help of platelets and corpuscles. C. With the help of RBCs and blood plasma. D. With the help of RBCs and WBCs.
Eighteenth question. Which one of the following combines several hundred times more strongly to the hemoglobin than oxygen? A. H2CO3. B. CO2. Circa company. D. None of these.
Nineteenth question. The enzyme that increases the reaction rate between CO2 and H2O in red blood cells is A. Carbonic anhydrase. B. Adenylate cyclase. C. Carbonic synthetase. D. Alkaline phosphates.
Twentieth question. Which of the following is an occupational respiratory disorder? A. Anthracis. B. Silicosis. Circa botulism. D. Emphysema.